everyone, today we're going to be talking about the 1995 film Casino, which is the forgotten Martin Scorsese classic. Let's talk!
Here I am. Go ahead, get rid of me.
So Casino was released on November 23rd, 1995, and I believe that this is the forgotten Martin Scorsese classic. Everyone brings up Taxi Driver, Goodfellas, Raging Bull, and The Irishman more recently. But everyone seems to always forget about Casino. And that is very disappointing because I think actually Casino, for me, may actually be better than Goodfellas. And I love Goodfellas. I go back and forth on this all the time. Which one do I like more? Do I like Goodfellas or do I like Casino? Well, I just watched this again last night, and I gotta be honest, I'm still not 100% sure, but I do know that I do love Casino. So Casino follows Sam Ace Rothstein, played by Robert De Niro, and his rise to running the Tangiers Casino in Las Vegas, and also his love interest with Ginger, played by Sharon Stone, and his friendship with fellow gangster Nicky, played by the great Joe Pesci. So this movie, I think, right out of the gate, is just a phenomenal movie. It is not a 10 out of 10 movie. I think it might be a little long in the tooth. It's almost 3 hours. You know, there were some spots where I thought you could have cut and it would have been a better 2.5 hour movie, but I'm not going to go tell Martin Scorsese to cut anything from this movie, because either if I have a little bit of issues with maybe like it's slowing down a little bit in spots, it doesn't take away from the movie in any way, and it shouldn't be a knock against it because it's still a very phenomenal movie. But as far as everything else about the movie, it's just great. Like Robert De Niro as Sam Ace Rothstein, it's a different role than what he played in Goodfellas. You know, Joe Pesci, it's the same thing. Joe Pesci's role, I'll have to say, is very similar. He's got a Chicago accent in this movie, but he still plays the heavy. He's still a tough guy you don't want to cross. Like, there's a line in this movie where, you know, Robert De Niro is doing narration over it, and he's like, if you bring a bat, then he's gonna bring a gun. And if you bring a gun, you better kill him, because he's gonna keep coming back and back and back until you are no more. And that's pretty much what Joe Pesci plays in this movie. I think he's just, you know, for a little guy, you know for a fact that you don't want to cross him because he will kill you. He won't even think about it. So we're going full spoilers on this movie, just so we're clear on everything. Going forward, you know, if you haven't seen Casino, again, I recommend the movie highly, and then you can come back and watch and see what my final thoughts are on it. So, as I've said, Joe Pesci and Sharon Stone and Robert De Niro, they all carry this movie. They all do world-class performances. Sharon Stone is definitely her best performance ever. This or Basic Instinct, but I still think that this is her best performance. It's, you know, kind of hurts that you don't really hear much from Sharon Stone, because watching her play Ginger in this movie is just phenomenal. She kills it. She nails it. She deserves every accolade that she received for this movie, bar none. You know, Robert De Niro, he played his role perfectly. Obviously, Joe Pesci is never bad. I don't think I've ever seen. I'm sure that he's been in a bad movie, but I haven't seen him. You know, even in the Lethal Weapon series and Goodfellas, Home Alone. You know, this guy comes up, he shows off. He can do anything. I mean, My Cousin Vinny. Joe Pesci is just a gem for us, and I can't say enough good things about him. Robert Richardson did the cinematography on this movie, and I just wanted to point out that this is a 3-time Academy Award-winning cinematographer, and he did not win for this movie, but this is my favorite movie that he has shot. This movie has some of my favorite shots that I have ever seen in any movie. The Cadillac sitting on the runway with the light hitting off of it is beautiful. The reflection of Joe Pesci's car driving by and Robert De Niro's sunglasses, that's just another incredible shot. Those two shots are two of my favorite shots in any movie, and they are just set up perfectly. I love those shots, and it looks great anyway, because it's in Las Vegas. You got the lights. You know, you're not gonna. It's not gonna look bad, but they got Las Vegas in the 70s and early 80s perfect. I think that. I mean, obviously, I wasn't around in the 70s and 80s to see Vegas, but I've been to Vegas numerous times. I've even lived there for a very short amount of time, and I can tell you that Vegas looks beautiful in this film. I mean, it really did feel like I was watching Vegas, like the way the desert feels if you've ever been to Las Vegas. I think that Martin Scorsese nailed it, and that shouldn't be a surprise because He nails New York and Goodfellas. It's Martin Scorsese we're talking about here. This is the greatest, if not one of the greatest directors we've ever had, and we should cherish every film that he makes going forward because he is a genius, and he proves it again here with Casino. And it's a shame that it gets forgotten just because people look at it as Goodfellas 2, and that's not what it is. It is telling a very different story. Yes, is it violent? Yes, they say the F word a million times. Of course, it's a Martin Scorsese film, but don't knock that against it, because it is a movie that we are going to miss when we don't get to see a movie like this again. That's why people ran out for The Irishman last year, or 2 years ago rather, because we don't get these films that much. Yes, people have tried to go and make their own version of this type of film, a la Boogie Nights by Paul Thomas Anderson, which is also a phenomenal movie, but you're not going to get exactly what Martin Scorsese does. He's got those, those Rolling Stone needle drops. It's just incredible. Now, you might say, okay, the needle drops are not as memorable as in Goodfellas, and I'll agree with you. But what it lacks in those, it makes up, I think, in cinematography. The acting, I think, is equal in both movies if you're going to compare Goodfellas and Casino. I just think overall, I don't know which one I would choose. Like, you'd have to catch me on a certain day. Some days I'll tell you I like Goodfellas more, some days I'll tell you I like Casino more. But either way, Casino is a great movie, and I can't recommend it enough from a plot standpoint. Like I have said, I would trim off if I was the editor, like a half hour, but, where would you trim it? I don't know, because the whole time I'm watching this movie, I'm glued to the screen, but, it does slow down in parts, and, it takes a little bit away, but nothing crazy. So if I was going to rate this as far as a story, and as a plot, and as a movie, I'm going to give Casino a 9.5 out of 10. And now let's shift to the physical media releases for Casino. So I actually have both of the most recent releases of Casino. I got the 2009 Blu-ray as well as the 4K. And one thing that is disappointing as far as both of these go is the extras. A lot of the extras from this, actually most of the extras from the Blu-ray do carry over to the 4K, so the extras are not really that special. I would have liked a documentary. It just celebrated 25 years in 2020. It would have been nice to get a nice documentary. But again, unfortunately, this is kind of like the forgotten Scorsese classic. So I guess between all of his other movies, like The Departed and Wolf of Wall Street, people kind of just forgot about Casino, and I would love them to do a retrospective and interview the cast and crew about their making of it, because I love the movie and I would have a lot of interest in seeing that. So the 4K release is not going to have the best of extras. Now, the 4K visual upgrade is definitely very well done. I wouldn't say it's a huge leap over the Blu-ray, because the Blu-ray actually is very well done too. So if you have it, you might be thinking, is it worth an upgrade? And I'll say, yeah, it's definitely worth an upgrade. Because right now this Blu-ray is running for, I believe, as of January 30th, 2022, it is running for $16.99 at Best Buy. And that's, I think, a fair price for this. If you have the Blu-ray, that's a fair upgrade price, because again, you're also going to get a DTS HD 7.1 surround sound master audio for this, and it is great. Martin Scorsese loves to use music in his movies to a point that it's going to overwhelm your speakers, and if you can think of Goodfellas with Layla, and this movie has plenty of needle drops, it's great sound design overall. It's a Martin Scorsese movie, so every detail was paid attention to in the audio and visual department. So it's definitely a recommendation as far as the 4K Blu-ray for me. It's not a Criterion Blu-ray or anything like that. It is just someone put a lot of work into making the visual and audio improved from the previous releases that we have had of Casino, and I think they nailed it. So it's definitely a recommendation from me. I think overall I would probably give this Blu-ray an 8 out of 10. So I would actually give this 4K Blu-ray an 8 out of 10. So I recommend you go out and buy it if you can. If not, check it out. Rent it on Amazon. I believe it's definitely on there, and it's definitely worth your time. So if you haven't seen Casino yet, I can't tell you enough. Go out there and go check out Casino. It's a great movie. You're going to have a great time. You're going to be running back here and saying, John, Casino, how did I not know about Casino? I've heard of Goodfellas, but Casino is a real killer movie. And you know what? I agree. So please go out, check out Casino, pick up the 4K, leave a comment, let me know what you think of Casino. And as always, thanks for joining us here on Let's Talk. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and tell all your friends.